nature of humanity, its essence is to feel another's pain, and one's pain is to take away from that. And there is a nobility in compassion, beauty in empathy. Good morning to all. I'm Mubin Taj, Assistant Professor from the Department of Management. Welcome you all for first online webinar on human and humanity, the role and responsibility of youth in overcoming COVID-19 pandemic situation for the academic year 2021. I take this opportunity to welcome our guest, today's guest, Dr. Ali Khwaja is Chairman of Banjara Academy, Counselor, Life Skill Coach. So he has done his BTech from IIT, and since childhood, he has been very much fascinated towards the human being and their behaviors. And he always wanted to contribute to the welfare of the individual through the enrichment quality of life through empowerment it is. His efforts have been acknowledged, appreciated, and recognized by many organizations, educational institutions, corporates, hospitals, all across the globe it is. So on behalf of management, principal sir, HODs, staff and students, I welcome you, sir. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. I welcome even Banjara team, Miss Anis Fatima, manager of Banjara Academy, and Poonima madam for this excellent session it is. Thank you so much for coordinating with us, ma'am. I welcome our principal sir, who always motivates staff to go beyond the teaching level and to benefit the students' community in terms of organizing student development programs, faculty development programs, webinars, and all over the activities so that our students' community gets benefited. So thank you so much for your encouragement, sir. I welcome you, sir, for the session.
Yeah, thank you.
I welcome our beloved HOD, sweet and charming lady, who believes in working in team and a lot of coordination in our department, believes in working together, working in team, and with a lot of enthusiasm and lot of coordination among each other. I welcome you, Lenny ma'am.
Thank you, Mubin ma'am. Thank you so much.
I welcome my team members, Professor Ramya R, Professor Bilal Irfan, and with Mr. Vijay Murthy, newly joined with us. So all without the support of the staff, technical support or any other support, we couldn't able to organize any of our programs. I welcome all my team members.
Thank you, ma'am.
Last but not the least, all the students community, all the students who have been registered for the session. And I pray that the session would be one of the remarkable movement and life-changing movement in your life. Thank you all. Over to you, Principal Sir. Please address the gathering.
Thank you. Respected dignitaries present today, the speaker of the day, my dear HODs and various department faculties of host college and participants. I, Dr. Basuraj Biradar, Principal of HKBK Degree College. It's my privilege to honor and welcome the gathering day today for this most required event for the today. And society on behalf of college, and extend my heartfelt thanks to our management for giving an opportunity and platform to organize such events. It's my pleasure to welcome the guest speaker of the day, Professor KHWAJA, Ali KHWAJA, right? Whose words have always, whose words always have remained inspirational to many youths and today's society. Our guest today known that to organize the webinar on the most essential topic. He accepted our invitation and its busy schedule agreed to address today's gathering. I, on behalf of management and college, welcome our speakers for the today. And due to certain uncertainty, Honorable Chairman C.M. Ibrahim sir and our Honorable Director Sri C.M. Fayaz Muhammad have conveyed their best wishes for the day. I also welcome all the various department HODs and faculty members, but not least the participant without whom today event cannot be successful. Let us today event spread some awareness and seriousness among youths, not just to realize their duties in the pandemic, but also volunteers to make others their safety and security as an individual and human being of our country. I conclude my speech once again, welcoming each and everyone present here for this blessing gathering. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Moving on for the guest, sir. Sir Ali, sir, you can proceed, sir, now. Yeah.
Thank you very much. A very nice, warm welcome to all of you. Your principal has set the tone by very briefly but very precisely introducing the topic and the concept and the purpose of why we are all gathered over here today in this virtual meeting. I don't know whether you people feel that you are too old to listen to stories, but to me, stories still continue to be one of the best form of listening. You may have heard of stories of Akbar and Birbal. Birbal was an amazing person with such a wit and so much of intelligence and the way he could twist things around. One of the stories of Birbal goes like this, that whenever something used to go wrong and Akbar used to feel very irritated or upset or complaining, Birbal always used to say it is all for the better. You see, God always does something which is for the better. We cannot say. Akbar used to sometimes get irritated and he used to say that, how can everything be for the better? When I'm saying that this has gone wrong, instead of sympathizing with me, you're saying, okay, nahin, it is always for the better and things like that. One day it so happened that Akbar was cutting a fruit and he cut his little finger. A small portion of his finger got chopped off. And those days there was no surgery or anything of that sort. Akbar lost that little portion of the finger. And when he was complaining about it, Birbal said, okay, it happens, my lord, don't worry. There is a meaning in this also. And Akbar got very angry. He said, what can there be a meaning in losing a finger here? I'm in such pain and I've lost my finger and you are saying all this philosophy. Anyway, that incident happened and they got over it. One fine day, Akbar and Birbal were going hunting on their horses and there was an empty well. Birbal did not see it, and as he was riding, his horse collapsed and he landed up inside that well, deep down. And there was no way he could come out of it. And Akbar came close, looked down, and said, what happened, Birbal? Birbal said, sir, I didn't notice, and I have fallen into this well. Akbar wanted to teach him a lesson, or so he thought. And he said, yes, Birbal, everything happens for the better, as you said. See how you can come out of it. I am proceeding with the hunt. And he went off. He thought now Birbal will learn a lesson. But what happened was, Akbar got caught by some tribals who used to eat human beings, cannibals as we call them. They caught hold of Akbar, tied him up, and were about to kill him and eat his flesh. When their guru or their magic man came, had one close look at Akbar and said, we are going to sacrifice this man to our gods. And we are going to kill him sacrificially and we are going to eat him. But he looked closely at Akbar and said, this man has a finger missing. Gods will get very angry if we give gods the sacrifice of an incomplete human being. No, 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 no. Untie him and throw him out from here. Akbar's life was saved. He came back. He pulled out Birbal from the well. And he said, oh, my life was saved. And Birbal said, didn't I tell you when you chopped off your finger, that there's always a meaning and there's always something better about it. Then Akbar realized, yes, there's a lot of wisdom. Then Akbar said, sorry, I taunted you and I told you and you fell into the ditch that it is for the better. Birbal said, yes, my lord, it is for the better. If I had not landed up inside that well, I would have been with you. And since I am a complete human being with all my fingers intact, they would have sacrificed me to their gods. So I got saved because I landed up in this ditch. Now, what is the moral of the story, as we say? That every calamity, every setback, every hurdle, everything negative that happens has got some meaning. It has got some purpose. We don't understand the meaning and purpose. None of us anticipated that we are going to get this COVID and lockdown and these things last year, right? It came totally out of the blue. No astrologer, nobody could have predicted that this is going to happen, but it did happen. Okay, we went through weeks and months of lockdowns and all those restrictions and all those limitations. And finally, it looked like things are opening up. One by one, things started getting back to normalcy. We almost came to the stage where even educational institutions came back to their regular classes, and they started off with so many other things. And before you know it, the second wave has come on us now. Now, what are we going to do? And I'm addressing this specifically to you people because you are the youth, you are the energy, you are the people who is the future of our country and of mankind. I want you to understand the role that you are playing now and the role that you can play in this sort of a situation. You have two choices. Either you sit and crib and say, see, lockdown again, I can't go to college, I can't do any other activity, I can't even go out and play games or sports, I'm locked up in my house, I have nothing else to do, I'm getting bored. It's up to you. The choice is yours. But remember one very important thing. The lockdown has locked your bodies. The lockdown has not locked your minds. Your mind is absolutely free. And the mind controls the body. If the mind is happy, automatically the body can be under control, whatever may be the restrictions on the body. Now, what are you doing with your mind? Are you allowing this to pull you down, or are you going to look at this hurdle as a stepping stone towards success? Let me share with you that over the years and years and years that I have been doing counseling, people come to me, share their innermost thoughts. They convey whatever they are going through, they share their emotions. So I've had a very wide exposure of understanding human beings. Based on all that, I feel that every time a person makes up his or her mind that I am going to use this hurdle, this setback as a stepping stone, you are strengthened. Sometimes I feel very bad for people who have never had a setback in their life, who never faced failure, who never had obstacles, who have always had everything very smooth, born and brought up in a rich family, caring parents, all their needs are looked after, whether they score marks or not, they somehow get admission in the best of institutions. They've got all the money, whether they are capable of earning or not. Everything going very smoothly. Sometime or the other, life or fate gives them one back. Once they stumble and fall down, they go berserk. I've seen this happening so many times, not once, twice. Even a small setback, some failure, some obstacle, and the person just doesn't know what to do with himself. He has fallen down, he doesn't know how to get up. That happens to people who have never had a setback. And that is why I always say, whenever there's a hurdle like this, not today, as I mentioned, this whole COVID business has come for the second time, and another lockdown has come, and we don't even know whether this lockdown will be lifted on 24th or whether it will be extended. We have no idea. So all I want you to do is to take up a simple formula or mantra or a philosophy of life, which is hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Let us hope for the best. Let us hope 24th, lockdown will be lifted. We can start moving around. We can open colleges. We can do so many things. Slowly, work will get back to normalcy. We'll all get into our vocations and everything fine will be happening. That is my hope. But at the same time, am I prepared if that does not happen? Lockdown gets extended. Lockdown gets over. Partially it is open, but colleges are not allowed to open. Because of that, businesses are suffering. Because of that, jobs are not available. Financially, you are suffering. In so many other ways, at the emotional level, you are suffering. If that happens, are you prepared for it? So start off by chalking out what you are going to be doing for the next few weeks and the next few months in the worst scenario. Supposing nothing moves, you are restricted from every possible activity. As I said, your mind is not locked down. Using your mind, you can do 100 different things. I'll just give you one example. I encouraged a group of youngsters to, when under lockdown, to start off with mapping their locality. This is a group of 6 or 8 young boys and girls. I said, now that you are locked out, map out your locality. What all is there in your locality? How many hospitals are there? How many doctors are there? How many medical stores are there? How many restaurants are there? How many serve North Indian food, South Indian food? Where do you get a puncture repaired if your bike gets punctured? Where do you buy some provisions? Where do you go for these? Where are the open grounds? And for about 1 week or 10 days, they got so involved in that project, and they shared, and they got into that spirit, that team spirit. I will do this, you do this, you find out this, I will find out that. And after all that, when they made this little project about their locality and they put it up for circulation, there were hundreds of people of that locality who thanked them, who said, you have created an encyclopedia of the locality. Sometimes I used to wonder, if I need small help like this or small support, where do I get a plumber? I was not sure that there is any plumber in our locality. Now that you've given me the addresses of 3 plumbers who exist in this locality, I didn't even know that. So thank you very much. And they felt so nice that they were of use to all their neighbors and all the residents. Okay, I'm just giving this as an example to show you that there's a lot that you can do to enhance your own spirits, your own learning, your own usefulness, and also help others. We have been doing things like that. We've always been, as a counseling center, we've always tried to see how you can reach out, what you can do, how you can involve people. So today I've invited my colleague, the director of our Banjara Academy, Mrs. Purnima Ganesh. I've invited her to come and share some of the experience of what all we have been doing since last year. Maybe that will just give you an idea and motivate you. And then I'll take you through a lot of practical tips on how you, as a young person, can be a torch bearer for all the others. You can, be a role model and a motivator to even your elders. And you can use this setback and this opportunity to actually create an identity for yourself. It is possible. And I am going to help you with giving you a few practical tips. So I invite Purnima to come and share experiences, please.
Thank you. As soon as we realized that the lockdown was on, and there is going to be so much of restrictions to meet people, to meet your loved ones, to meet people, generally your friends whom you would have, just told, hey, let's have a potluck lunch. I'll bring something, you bring something. Somebody gets thumbs up, somebody gets chips. We all meet up. All these things were just not happening at this point of time. So there were consciously as a team, we all made this effort of reaching out to different people that were there in our phone book. So it was a standard practice for all of us that every day we make few calls, and it could be to anyone who you think you are, either comfortable or even not comfortable. So it could just be that person who comes to deliver some things and you realize, oh, I have not met him, but his number is there in your phone book. So you just call him up and ask him. First, he will be a little surprised. Oh my God, why have you called? He said, no, I just called up because I thought I'll inquire whether you, your family, and I wish that you all be well. So that was something which we very, very regularly did. And that has actually yielded such an overwhelming response that now we have actually, that message has been spreading, percolating down to so many of our volunteers, to our faculty members, that now we have started getting a lot of messages from them inquiring about our welfare and saying that you have been inquiring about people, now we want to know about you. So that's something which I would want to share immediately, which is topmost on my mind. Thank you, Ali.
Now, the first step to be able to do something meaningful in such hard and difficult times is, as I mentioned, let your mind be free. Let your mind go beyond the shackles of this lockdown. One of the ways of doing that is what we refer to as creative visualization. Start visualizing a world beyond whatever is being held up now. Start planning. In 2021 summer, I could not go out anywhere. I love to travel. I love to go to places, particularly in the summer, some hill stations or beaches and seaside or things like that. This year, I'm not able to do it. But next year, I'm going to do it. Now, can I visualize where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do there in minutest detail? Not just a general thing, oh yes, I will go to Uti or I will go to Goa or something, not that way. In the minutest detail, start visualizing. When you have no other work to do, when you're sitting at home, just relax, stretch out, close your eyes and start visualizing how you're going to travel, with whom you're going to travel. What is the tiffin that you will carry with you? What is the type of food that you will eat in that place, which is so different from what the food that you get right here in Bangalore? What are the type of people? What is the type of language that you have to speak in those places? What is the type of environment that I will be in? What type of room will I be staying in? When I come out, where will I be walking? What will be the scenario outside? The more you do this visualization, the more your mind starts getting free from the shackles of these lockdowns and these things. Do it. First time, second time, you may not find much of a result. You say, kya yaar? Yeah, hota hai, let us see. I'm not even very sure whether next year we will be able to go or whether we'll have a third wave or something of that sort. You may be a little pessimistic originally, but if you start doing it on a regular basis, you will realize that over a period of time, you start really dreaming, visualizing, fantasizing, and actually enjoying things which are deprived to you right now. This idea I got when I heard the true story of a person called Walt Disney. You've heard of Disneyland, I hope. You heard of Mickey Mouse, if nothing else. Walt Disney was a man who was a cartoonist. He had created Mickey Mouse. He used to draw cartoons. He used to do a lot of things for children. But for a very long time, he did not make money. Even his cartoons were not accepted by newspapers, or they would not pay him for it. And he was going through a very bad struggle. At one point, Walt Disney visualized what we call Disneyland today. Okay? A huge setup where every possible game, every possible activity, every possible ride will be available for children and for adults. Something which was unheard of till that time. A gigantic place where you will have every possible thing 100 times bigger than the normal melas and all that you have over here. And with creativity, with new ideas, with things which people would never have thought that such a thing is possible. He visualized all that. And he started chasing banks and venture capitalists. Please give me money. I want to build this Disneyland, he said. And they laughed at him. They said, we give money for business ventures. We give money for something where you sell a product or a service, get money, and based on that, you repay us with interest or with profits or whatever, right? You were talking about making a game. He said, yes, we can make tons of money through this. They did not believe him. After a great difficulty, the money started slowly pouring in. And then Disneyland started taking shape. It was a huge project, so obviously it took a very long time. Unfortunately, before it was completed, Walt Disney died. Anyway, the project was completed and the date of the inauguration came. On the podium, on the stage, a VIP was sitting, minister or whatever, some big shot. And that man, when he had to give a speech, he said, what a wonderful place. I've never seen something as great as this. I couldn't even have imagined that such a place like Disneyland could have been created. And today I see it with my own eyes and I'm thoroughly impressed. I feel it is some path-breaking. I feel that it is so unique. And then he said, I wish Walt Disney was here to see this. If he could see it today, if he was alive, how happy he would have been. The person sitting next to him was a very dear friend of Walt Disney. He tapped this VIP and said, sir, you are wrong when you say Walt Disney had not seen this. Walt Disney saw this 10 years back in his mind. And that is the reason why we are seeing it today. So Walt Disney had not missed out anything. He had that confidence. He had that vision. He had that positive thinking that yes, Disneyland will be built. Whether he's dead or alive today doesn't make a difference. This should be a great lesson to us at a time when we are getting so scared. We don't know who's going to be the next victim of COVID. We don't know who's going to suffer. We don't know who's going to land up in hospital. And we don't even know who's going to pass away with COVID. There's so much of threat, so much of anxiety, so much of worry going around. But like I said, the choice is yours if you want to overcome it. If you want to shake this thing out of your mind and look at things in a positive manner, that is definitely possible for you to do. And for that, you have to be practical. You have to be pragmatic. You have to tell yourself that there is no point in worrying. There's no point in having anxiety and all the time thinking, supposing I get COVID, supposing my family members get, supposing my best friend gets, what is going to happen? That is what we refer to as anxiety, right? Now, somebody has given a very nice definition of anxiety. They say, anxiety is the interest that you pay on a loan which you have not taken. You have not taken the loan. You have planned to take a loan, but you are already paying interest on it. That is what is anxiety. Without realizing that I don't even know whether I will get COVID or whether somebody else will get COVID or not. I don't know if I get COVID, whether I will be free of symptoms or whether I will suffer or whether I will land up in the hospital or not. I don't know whether COVID will kill me or I'll recover and come back to normalcy. But this anxiety is already killing me. You know that famous dialogue of that very old but very popular film called Sholay. Gabbar Singh, who is the great dacoit and leader of his gang, when his men go to the village and they are shooed off by these Amitabh Bachchan and Dharmendra, and they get scared and they come back. And Gabbar Singh asks them, "Kitne aadmi the?" And they say, "Do Sardar." "और तुम कितने थे?" "3." "वो 2 लोग थे, तुम 3 थे, फिर भी डर के वापस आ गए." And then what does he do? He says, "जो डर गया वो मर गया," and he shoots them. Very symbolic, but I want us to introspect on this. Okay, if I start worrying what will happen if I die, if I get COVID, I'll never be able to. It's as good as my dying right now, isn't it? Why do I have to wait for the COVID to actually take me? I'm already killing myself. On the other hand, I can say, if and when that happens, I will face it. But today I'm not going to pay interest on that loan because I'm not going to allow this anxiety to overtake me. This is what I want you to understand. Before we proceed, I also want to tell you one thing. It is one issue to be positive, to be optimistic, to be motivated. It is entirely another one to be foolhardy. We are coming across young people who are being foolhardy. They refuse to wear the mask. They roam around without any reason. They go into gatherings. They are not even washing their hands or using the sanitizers. Now, those are the type of people who are being, as I said, foolhardy. They're taking unnecessary risks when simple things can protect them. A mask can protect you, washing hands can protect you, a sanitizer can protect you, keeping social distance can protect you. It's not a great price to pay, no? It's not so difficult to do. But yet people are foolhardy and they are doing it. You know, for that, there is an excellent Arabic proverb which says, "Trust in God, but tie up your camel first." People who say, "I will let my camel loose and go to sleep because I trust in God that the camel will not walk away." Now that is being foolhardy. But if I take a nice strong rope and I tie up the camel so that he cannot break the rope and he cannot walk off, and then I go to sleep, relaxed and with the faith that God will protect me and my camel, and in the morning my camel will be there and I will be able to ride it and move on. That is what we need to take into the hand. I don't know how many of you are actually reaching out to people and doing some, work or the other, but I have found that early in life, if you take up volunteering, what is volunteering? Volunteering is doing some good to people who cannot pay you in any way, who cannot, give you any return. If you reach out to such people, your only reward is your own satisfaction and your own conscience. Now you will say, under lockdown, what volunteering can I do? You will be amazed at the type of volunteering which innumerable youngsters like you are doing. All you have to do is to have that desire and that exploratory nature to say that, yes, I will find out what is the most suitable activity for me. I will identify and I will start doing it. Bangalore city has got innumerable, very genuine and very good NGOs which are doing excellent work during this COVID times. You can join hands with any one of them. You will probably have a residents welfare association, or if you're living in a big building or condominium, you'll have an association of people of that building. Join hands with them. If that is not possible, gather half a dozen friends of yours who stay close by or in your building or somewhere, or your classmates, and say, come on, let's put our heads together and find out what we can do. We are not going to be sitting idle. We have a functional brain, we have a functional body. Other than roaming around and doing things outdoors, we still have the capability of doing a lot of things. So why don't we put our heads together and decide what we can do? Maybe there's a neighbor who needs a little bit of help because he's very old. Maybe we can just go and give a little bit of moral support to the security fellow who is alone, standing there, lost, scared, because I have to deal with so many people who are going past me. Tomorrow I should not get COVID from them. Maybe we can provide him with a cup of tea or with some tiffin, or if nothing else, some good words. कि यार भैया तू बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहा है. We feel very proud that you are taking care of the security and the well-being of all the people in this building or in this locality. Small things, but they go a long way. There are so many such things that we can do if you have the right mindset. Incidentally, I would like the chat to be enabled so that any one of you who have any doubts, questions, you can start off. I don't want to end up with just giving you a lecture and going away. So can I request the host to please enable the chat so that whoever wants, whatever may be their doubts and confusions, they can start putting it in. Please feel free. There is no such thing as a stupid question. Anything that you have to comment on or you have to question, you can even disagree with what I'm saying. Maybe your ideas will help me to think better and to interact better, because day in and day out I'm interacting with people like you. So maybe I can learn something from you and convey it to somebody else. So while I'm waiting for the questions to come on the chat, I will again request my colleague Purnima whether she would like to add something. Is Purnima on? I can't see you. No? Soha says, sir, do you think COVID will restore humanity? Yes, Purnima is having some technical hitches. We'll wait for her to come back, but I'd like to definitely answer Suhas's question. Do you think COVID will restore humanity? See, remember, Suhas and everybody, that whenever a calamity takes place, be it a natural calamity like COVID or tsunami or earthquake, be it a man-made calamity like a world war or any of those things, curfews, riots, or anything like that, the best of human nature and the worst of human nature comes out. Inevitably, you will see people. I know of so many young people. The other day, I came across two young girls. One is a medical student and one is a student of Bachelor of Social Work. They are going on a regular basis to their community's burial ground and helping the people to do the last rites of the dead bodies that are coming in. Young girls, students like you, they decided to do it by themselves. Nobody told them, nobody asked them, nobody is monitoring them, nobody is thanking them for it. It just happened that I came to know about it through some media, and I was very impressed and touched with that. At the same time, you must be hearing from morning to evening, some fellow got arrested because he was selling adulterated drugs. Some fellow was trying to hoard life-saving medicines and selling them in the black market, to the extreme case where You may be hearing about callous hospital staff who refused to take in a dying person, and that person died just outside the hospital. So what does it mean? It means that you have to look into both sides of the picture. There will be human beings who will rise to the best, and there will be human beings who will go down to the worst. I guess Suhas is talking about genocide. You say, what is genocide? Even the worst of world wars could not create a genocide. No tsunami created a genocide. Is reason of COVID, is it to control the population? China has more population and India is second. China and India is one which is affected more, like in Palestine. No, I don't think that has got any relevance. What has numbers got to do with anything? Always remember, if I lose one loved one to COVID, it is a major tragedy. If I come to know that in some Ethiopia or somewhere 10,000 people died due to an earthquake, I won't even bother to look into the details. It's only statistics for me, no. So don't try to philosophize it. Don't try to explore and find out who is doing what, whether it is a genocide, whether China is doing something. How does it help? I have always been very impressed with a very simple prayer which is used by Alcoholics Anonymous and various other people. It is called the Serenity Prayer. The prayer says, God, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Now you have asked me, how are the richest becoming richer and the poor becoming poorer? Can you or I stop the rich from becoming richer? So I have to have the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. But when you say poor becoming poorer, a poor man who does not have food to eat, can I not give him some food to eat? Don't I have that? Even if I can't cook and make food, can I not get, some 1 kilo of rice and leave it with him and say, you cook and eat by yourself? So that is something, the courage, to change the things I can. I will step out and I will go to this person taking all the precautions, but I will go to him who's living on the footpath or in the hut and give him this food and come back. And therefore I said, you need to have the wisdom to understand the difference between the things you can change and the things that you do not change. Okay, one question is, for short-term goal, I have enough determination, but when it comes to long-term goals, how to keep the motivation going for a long term? In fact, one of my teachers had taught me this lesson when I was a school student, saying that always have very lofty long-term goals. Long-term goals which, may even look impossible right now. And he said, back it up with short-term goals, which are very realistic and which are taking you one step towards your long-term goal. It so happened that at that time, when he was asking all of us, set one long-term goal, loftiest goal. Eventually in life, when you achieve everything that you want to achieve, what do you want to be? Most of my classmates hardly could convey anything worthwhile. I don't know what happened. Impulsively, when my turn came, I got up and said, sir, I want to be the president of India, sir. My classmates started laughing. My teacher, he came right up to me and said, stand up. I said, mar gaya. Now I'm in trouble. But you know what he did? He put his arm around me and he turned to my students, my classmates, and said, why are you laughing? You know that India is a free democratic country where any Indian can aspire to become the president of India. And the post of president always has to be occupied. So he said, why can't one day Ali become the president of India? What is wrong in dreaming and having a goal like that? In fact, he said, the loftier your goal, the more you feel motivated to work harder. And then he spoke about the short-term goals. And I was a member of the scout troop, Boy Scouts. He said at that time, the highest position that you could achieve as a Boy Scout was what was known as President's Scout. He said, would you like to aspire to become a President Scout? I said, sir, I have heard it is very difficult. You have to work a lot to do it. He said, yes, do it. I'll guide you. I'll support you. You have the ability to do it. Come on, start off. It took me 1.5 years, continuous camps, skills, tests, level by level, I went up, and eventually I became what is known as a President Scout. Every year in those days, 30 scouts used to be selected from all over the country. And they used to come to Rashtrapati Bhavan to get a badge and a certificate signed by the President of India, declaring that you are a President Scout. You have been selected by the President. I still preserve that certificate and badge. Now, at 15 years of age, when I became President Scout, it gave me so much of motivation that one day, why can't I become President of India? And that is what has kept me going towards what we call as long-term goals, in answer to your question. Now, so far, I haven't become President of India. Does it make a difference whether I become President or Vice President or Governor or MLA or anything? It does not make a difference. Learn to enjoy the journey. The journey is far better than the destination. That has been another philosophy which I've always believed in. Whenever I have gone down, I've always looked out of the window. In fact, I love going by road rather than by plane or train or anything. Just you can stop wherever you want. You can observe whatever you want. You can take a detour whenever you want. And you can really enjoy the journey. Okay, I have a question. What will be the future of small retailers who are mainly involved in selling farm products, dairy products, all kirana stores and all that? They are going to be hit very badly. Let me tell you that. They are going to be hit very badly, but they are not going to get wiped out. That is the beauty of human nature. That is the resilience which we as Indians have. Let me tell you that also. We believe and we work in a concept which is called Jugaad. You heard of that word, Jugaad. Jugaad is bringing two things together which are not compatible and making them into one. There are innumerable instances of Jugaad. Now, once this lockdown is lifted, if there's a petty shopkeeper who realizes that my shop has been wiped out, I cannot reopen the shop and start off. He will do some Jugaad and he will find, provided two things. One is he should have a positive mental attitude. He should have that determination that I'm still fit and fine. I'm physically fit. My mind is working. My money may have been wiped out. My resources may have been wiped out, but I'm still capable of doing something. That is the first thing. The second thing is where you play an important role. If he is surrounded by 1, 2, 3 people who say, "Yaar, we are with you, chalo, go ahead. We will hold hands and we will give you whatever little support we can give you. We will applaud you. We will say, yay, when you make even one step forward. Tomorrow you become a hawker on the footpath, or you take a bandi and you start, selling things, and we will help you. We'll tell everybody in the neighborhood to buy from you. We will encourage you." If a person has that type of support from his near and dear, or from a few volunteers or somebody, see how wonderful the person, he can bounce back. Maybe, as I said, and I told in that Birbal story, because his shop got locked down, maybe he can bounce back to doing a better business. That possibility cannot be eliminated. Other concern, why medical and education services are representing business-based mechanism. I told you, the best of human behavior will come out, the worst of human behavior will come out. I know of dozens and dozens of my young students who are medical students, who are students of paramedical sciences, who are students of social work, who are students of counseling and psychology, who are rising to the occasion. who are doing wonderful work to reach out to people who are much elder than them, who should have been the wiser ones. But these youth are leading that movement, and they are showing them what the young people can do. Of course, taking certain precautions that I already told you. Ryle says, what are the most critical changes that we must make to face the future effectively? That depends from person to person, Ryle. You have to find the changes that you want in yourself. And remember that there is a difference between change and transformation. Transformation is irreversible. Transformation is where you evolve into something better than what you were earlier. But it is only you who can finally find the right answer, because you have to first identify where I am lacking, where I am unhappy, where I feel that I have not really risen to my full potential, where I feel that I am not walking on the right direction. Identify that first. And then visualize, as I told you, what is the best that I can do. Be practical. Certain things which are not realistic, put them as your long-term goals. Someday I will achieve it. There'll be other things which are practical and which are realistic. Start working on those. Kumar is asking, what is the problem from your viewpoint? From my viewpoint, there's no problem. I never look at problems as problems. I look at problems as hurdles, as stepping stones. You have a hurdle, you all run races where you have hurdles. No, you have to keep jumping over that hurdle and you have to keep moving, but you are eventually running towards your goal post, isn't it? That's all it is. And to me, whenever these type of problems come, no, they always leave you with a good lesson learned. You grow, you evolve. Suhas says, I don't know why. I strongly feel I am losing the hope on humanity because people are getting more and more into solitude and not having the serenity, but having egoism and attitude to accept the guidance from the people around. You know something, Suhas, you are focusing and concentrating on the negative people around you. There are so many wonderful, positive people who don't go about showing off what they are doing, but they are there, they are right around you. We have this huge team of counselors and volunteers who work in helping others throughout, right? From much before this COVID came in, for the last 30 years, our team of volunteers has been working in different areas, in hospitals and this and that. Now with COVID, some of them have got scared and they have shut themselves in their houses. Some of them have risen up saying that now is the need more than ever. I'll give you just one example. There is a gentleman called Mr. Ramaswamy, who's part of our team. He is only 82 years old. Even today, because he is a counselor and volunteer in hospitals, he has got that ID badge of Ramaya Hospital, Kidwai Hospital, and Baptist Hospital. So the police doesn't stop him. Whenever they stop, he shows the badge and says, I'm associated with hospitals and with, service being done to patients. He takes patients, he guides them, he shows them what needs to be done, he does hand-holding with them. His family is so upset with him, saying that at this age you are roaming around, what will happen to you? He says, what else can happen to me at this age? I'm ready for it. And since March last year till now, he has reached out to thousands of people. Just to give you an example, nearby his house, he found that there is an old lady who used to sell vegetables. And since the supply of vegetables stopped, even though vegetable is an essential commodity, she could have sold. But the people who are supplying the vegetables to her stopped. And she didn't have the wherewithal to go looking for the suppliers and find out. So she just collapsed. And she was starving. Every morning, the first thing that Mr. Ramaswamy would do before anything else is to prepare some food and walk down and give that food to her. Now, when he was going there, he noticed that there is another person who is very hungry. That person happened to have 4 legs. It was a street dog who was starving. So next day onwards, he started buying some buns and taking it for the dog. And then he realized the dog is not eating those buns. He was wondering why, when he's so hungry. Then he realized that this dog is very old. He doesn't even have the strength to bite buns. So you know what he did? He would take that bun, put it there in front of the dog, pour milk over it so that it becomes soft. And then the dog would start lapping the milk and eat the bun. What is so great about feeding one old dying street dog? Ask the person who gets that immense sense of satisfaction. And these are the people who can reinforce your hope in humanity, Suhas, and all the others. Never get carried away by the negative people. There are always enough and more positive people who, counterbalance the negative people. Arslan says some people are so afraid of this COVID, even after taking every precaution, like they get offended when we give advice, like they have made it their ego. So why get into arguments with such people? Why even interact with such people? You wish them from a distance, say God bless you, and walk off from there. And be in the company of positive people. Why transgender are not prioritized as human capital, how to approach and acknowledge their problems in this pandemic, as the topic is humanity. Yes, very much. We are doing this on a regular basis. 2 days back on Monday, I moderated a seminar which was held, an inter-religious seminar which was held for the LGBTQI community. That is lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgenders, all these people. And we even got the religious people to come in and give their views on transgenders and how they should be treated and what the scriptures say. I know of a group of young transgenders who I have had the privilege of observing and encouraging, led by a wonderful lady called Akkai Padmashali. She got the Rajya Sabha award also 2 years back. She's a transgender who has faced the worst of situation, but she has taken up the cause. Anyone who wants, there are NGOs working for transgenders. Become a volunteer with them. Move around. Some of our counselors have been going to different rural places and providing training to the peer group how to counsel their own people because others are not willing to counsel them. All this is going on left, right, and center. I don't want to boast. I'm not saying we are the people doing it or something. There are wonderful people all around us who are quietly doing their work, who are making a lot of difference to humanity. It is just that they don't come into the limelight as the negative people. Science has also declared them as unnatural. That is news to me. I don't think science declares anything as unnatural. Anything that exists, science accepts it. If there is something which is existing, science can. Science is not a theology. Science is not a scripture to declare. Science keeps changing every day, and science goes by proof, evidence, experiments. So many ideologies, so many scientific theories have evolved. They have changed. They have gone for the better ones. So it is not a question of whether it is natural or unnatural. When you come across a human being, treat that person as a human being. Has lockdown increased domestic abuse? Yes, it has. I work with Parihar, which is the counseling center of operating from the police commissioner's office. And they have been getting very sad, very pathetic cases, and they have been dealing with it beautifully. Hats off to them. They do not let go of any case of domestic abuse. They take it right up to the end and ensure that the person not only gets protection, but they also provide counseling. They have also done wonderful work in dealing with the abuser, first by threatening that we can get you locked up because we are police. At the same time telling them we will not get you locked up if you are willing to be a little more rational. What are your problems? They listen to them also. If he says, no, my wife is doing this and she's bad and she's doing this, they also give an ear to that and try to bring. I'm not saying they succeed every time, but that's the point. Even if they succeed in one or two, these are one or two happy families, one or two sets of happy children who are suffering because of what the parents were doing. Why the government didn't take any precautions after seeing post-lockdown? That is what I told you, no? God, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Can you change the government, Yasin? You cannot. Yes, if you want, prepare yourself from now itself, eventually get into politics, form your political party, win enough seats, get control of the government, and then change the policies. But today, there is so much more you can do as an individual, even as a student. If we sit down and keep questioning why the government didn't do this, why the politicians didn't do that, we will be wasting our time and we will not come to any results. Gay is natural because they are born like that, but what's your opinion? What is your opinion on vaccines? Personally, if you ask me, I think everybody should be vaccinated when they're eligible. Of course, as youngsters, you're not yet eligible. They're not giving it to you. I have got myself fully vaccinated. And even if I still get COVID, despite that, I'm ready for it. Mentally, I'm prepared. As I told you, no, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Now, I know that just because I have been fully vaccinated, it is no guarantee that I will not get COVID. So somewhere I'm prepared for that. At the same time, my doctor friends have reassured me that people who are vaccinated, by chance they even get COVID, the intensity will be less. So that is the advantage of vaccination. So as and when it is available to you, and in fact, right now, encourage your elders who are above 45 and those who are above 60 particularly, please tell them to get vaccinated. The vaccines are available for such people. Okay. What can we do to parent less children after losing their parents? Yes, there are a lot of the government, and there is an institution called CARA, Central Adoption Resource Agency. I was also for many years part of the adoption coordinating agency of Karnataka state. Now that has been superseded and we have only a central body. But right from CARA down to the NGOs, the CWC, the Child Welfare Committee, they have very clearly laid down rules and regulations. There have always been children who are being orphaned because of the death of their parents, much before COVID also came in. They are taking care of that. So you need not worry about such children. There are not too many of them. And whoever is there, they are all being provided with shelter, and eventually they will be provided with the right adoption. What about cocaine and other vaccine? Because many communities are confirmed about the blood clotting in many patients. Do not go by all these very general comments. What do you mean by many countries? And confirmed about blood clotting in many patients. Please give me statistical numbers certified by the authorities who are authorized to give out those numbers. What is the total number of people in our country who have died of COVID? They are much lesser number than the people who died in road accidents. They are much less than the number of people who have committed suicide, I can tell you. Check it out. The statistics, the official records are available. What do we do in prevention of suicide? I work in that field, so I am questioning you people. Whenever you find one of your colleagues, one of your friends becoming depressed, losing hope in life, have you reached out to that person? Have you been able to give that moral support of saying, "Main hoon na, you are not alone, I am with you"? And that is what prevents suicides. There are so many things that we can do at an individual level. And you as young people can do much more than what we can do. I have a lot of faith in the youth of today. All of you have that capabilities.
Sir, I have a question.
Covaxin instead of cocaine. Yeah, I want to reassure you that Covaxin has been, if not 100%, 99.9% safe. Now, 1% happens anywhere, right? If I have a serious heart condition, I go to the best of cardiac surgeons. He can make a mistake and I may die on the operating table. Out of 100 surgeries that an expert cardiac surgeon does, one or two of them inevitably die. And to a great extent, it may be because of the surgery also. But because of that, should the other 98 stop taking treatment? No, no. So that is what I'm trying to tell you. Please have a positive mindset. Please look at things in a positive manner. I want all of you to look at things in a positive manner, starting with, have you been grateful to your parents for having not only given birth to you, but to have brought you up to this point? You know that there are less than 5% of Indian boys and girls who come to this stage of completing a good degree course in a good college. You are that 5%. 95% of boys and girls of your age have not had the opportunity to come into courses like BBA, attend a good reputed college, and complete your education to degree level. Your parents have played a big role. Start with acknowledging them, saying thank you to them, telling them how much you love them, and how grateful you are to them. The next is your teachers. Right from your primary school, your teachers have played a tremendous role in making you what you are. You may not even realize it. We realize these things much later in life. Are you acknowledging them? Are you saying thanks to them? Are you looking out for them and finding out where they are and whether they need anything in these days of COVID? Most of them are very poor people, they're very ordinary people. Have I taken the trouble of reaching out to my teachers and asking them, sir, ma'am, is there something that I can do to help you? I'm your old student. I acknowledge that you have made me what I am today. And thirdly, be thankful to your country. I can tell you, you are very, very lucky to have been born and brought up in this wonderful country, India, which not only provides you with the best platforms, the freedom, the democracy, the secularism, whatever politicians may say, whatever the media may say, don't go by that. I'm a strong believer that our country is achieving the impossible. The opportunities that are being given to you were never available in history. So please be proud to be an Indian. Hold your head up high and say that now that I have got all these things from my parents, my teachers, my friends who have stood by me and helped me, my neighbors, my relatives, and my country, taking all that into account, we are there to help each other and to stand as one nation, overlooking all these small hurdles. Many of you have spoken about so many negative things. Just overlook them and look at the positive side of life. You will definitely succeed. You will definitely carve out your own path. All happy people, all successful people are people who have, overridden these hurdles, had a clear focus on what they want, have a positive mindset, and they went ahead. Whether they became multimillionaires, whether they became celebrities or not, is not important, but they did get satisfaction. To end up, I just want to leave you with the message that
I have
we
a question.
provide free counseling to anyone, whether it's a student, whether it's a family, whether it's anybody, with regard to anything. If somebody is getting very distressed or upset because of the lockdown or COVID, if somebody is having relationship issues, somebody is having academic issues, what's going to happen to my future? How do I, proceed from here? What are the type of careers? What can I do? And those sort of things, we are available to you. Right now, because of the lockdown, the office is closed. Once the lockdown is closed, we will be available in person also. Right now, we are available both on phone as well as through email. I request Purnima to please put up our email ID and also the phone numbers, so that you can keep it with you if either you or anybody known to you, feels anytime that we could be of help. As I said, it's a free service. Anybody can avail of it. Please feel free to get in touch with us. Thank
Hello,
you very
Dr. Ali,
much.
sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
I have a question for you in the chat box. Can you please?
Which is the question?
The last one. What made you choose this career?
What made you choose this career? I did not choose it, sir. It chose me. That's the beauty of doing something which you are passionate about. You just start taking interest in something and you start going deeper and deeper. And then you realize that you're fully involved in it. But at the same time, I would like to clarify, this is not a career for me. I don't do it as a vocation. I do it because I'm passionate. As I told you, we don't charge for counseling. It's a free service. My entire team does free counseling for anybody and everybody. So it's not a money making, it's not a profession, it's not a designation or anything like that for us. We make our money through the training programs and other activities that we do which supplement this. But this is something that we very strongly believe in it. And it did not happen like one minute, suddenly one fine day I woke up and said, oh, I want to be in this career or in this vocation. No, it evolved over a period. It took a long time, it evolved, but no looking back. And that is what I meant by saying a little while ago, that forget about the destination, enjoy the journey. And that is what I am doing. I have no destination. I'm not looking to become President of India or some Padma Shri or anything of that sort. I'm enjoying the journey. Today morning, I have enjoyed spending this hour and a half with you youngsters, because I feel that you are the future of our country and you are the future of mankind. I think since Purnima is not here, I will just tell you our phone number is 88617-92260. I repeat, 88617-92260. And our website is banjaraacademy.org. banjaraacademy.org. In that, there is a My Counselor button. You can send us your queries or your questions through that, banjaraacademy.org. So thank you very much for a lovely morning. I've enjoyed myself. I hope I have been useful in giving you some practical tips. Enjoy life and be in touch whenever you feel like. Over to Mrs. Mubin Taj to wind up.
Thank you so much, sir. Be practical, be positive, remove anxiety, and trust in God. This is what the beautiful words what we have heard from you, sir. And now I request Professor Ramya to please propose a vote of thanks. Professor Ramya.
Okay, sorry. Good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Assistant Professor Ramya R, Department of Management. It's an honor to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks. On behalf of HKBK Degree College, Principal, HOD, and entire management, I extend our full thanks to the Speaker of the Day, Dr. Ali KHWAJA, Chairman of Banjara Academy, who spared time from his busy schedule and shared his insight on roles and responsibilities of youth in overcoming this pandemic. The session gives effective information to our students like everything is for better, hope for the best and prepare for the worst. More you visualize, more you will be free. Definition of anxiety and the result of being anxiety, think positively. So like that. So thank you, sir, for motivating our students and tell them about how to face the situation more positively and confidently. Thank you, sir. I extend my thanks to Ms. Purnima, Director of Banjara Academy, for sharing her views with our students. Thank you, ma'am. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to Ms. Anis Fatima, Manager, Banjara Academy, for giving this opportunity to conduct this webinar. Thank you, ma'am. I also thank Professor Mubin Taj, Professor Bilal, Professor Vijay Murthy for organizing such an informative session. Thank you, ma'am and sir. Last but not the least, I thank all the students for cooperating and actively participating in this session. Thank you, students. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, Principal, sir.
Hello.
Can we log out, sir? Principal,
Yeah,
sir?
please. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir has logged out.
Yeah, sir, he has logged out.
Okay, thank you for being with us, children. My dear students, all are safe, right? Be safe. Take care. Again, we will meet after some time. Okay. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir,
Zabardast.
Can we
Yeah.
leave, sir?
Yeah. Can leave.